I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Warren City Council for April 2026. Will you please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Ms. Flasher?
Here.
Mrs. Casey?
Here.
Mr. Cashman?
Present.
Mr. Gilbert?
Present.
Mr. Champlin?
Present.
Mr. Villela?
Here.
Mayor Wortman?
Here.
Mr. Kowski?
Here.
We have a quorum with all 7 council members in attendance.
Great, thank you very much. I'd like to announce that the City Council met in an executive session tonight. The meeting was held immediately prior to this meeting to discuss the potential sale of city-owned property and the potential litigation concerning emergency medical services. We also have a number of visitors with us tonight, and I welcome everybody here with us tonight. Mr. Rick Allen, Mr. Dan Grolemund, Mrs. Antoinetta Lindell, Delaney Chase from the Warren Times Observer, Mr. John Wagner, Melissa McLean, and I believe Tiger is with us as well. So, and I see that we have Brian Hagberg with us via Zoom as well. So thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here with us tonight. And we look forward to further conversations as part of our agenda. I would like to offer at this time, though, is there anybody in the audience, either physically here or on Zoom, that would like to address the council on an issue that is not on tonight's agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Again, welcome to tonight's meeting. Agenda item 3, motion to approve tonight's agenda. So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions, comment, or debate on tonight's agenda? Okay, all those in favor vote aye. Aye. All those opposed vote nay. Tonight's agenda passes. Agenda item 4, are there any motions to amend the agenda? Make a motion that we not amend the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any question, comment, or debate on that? Okay, all those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed vote nay. That also passes unanimously. Thank you. As part of your council packets, you have the approved minutes from the March meeting. Would anybody like to make a motion to accept?
Move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any question, comment, or debate on March meeting minutes? All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed vote nay. That also passes unanimously. Mrs. Leary, do we have any correspondence other than the agenda item for resignations?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so part of tonight's activities, we have a couple proclamations that I'd like to go through real quick. And I'm actually going to do them in reverse order because we have Melissa's with us here tonight, and we'll do that one second. But the first, as everybody knows, on Saturday was Founders Day, or the founding of the city of Warren. And we started last year on the 200th anniversary of the founding of Warren, 2025. We started issuing proclamations recognizing that. I believe it was in the Warren Times Observer. There was a great article that was recently written about the Warren County Historical Society and the displays that they have that are currently in place until the end of April, which go through a lot of the history of Warren, the founding of Warren, as part of the America 250 efforts. And as part of that, we're going to continue each and every year to recognize the founding of Warren. So I'm just going to read parts of the proclamation that will then be given to the Warren County Historical Society as part of their display that's currently again in place until the end of April. So, whereas the United States of America will celebrate the 250th anniversary of its founding throughout the year, and particularly on Independence Day, July 4th, 2026. And it is important to commemorate the founding of this community within our great nation. Whereas on April 18th, 1795, state legislature of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania passed an act to establish the settlement of Warren. And the Commonwealth ordered that the town be laid out at the junction of the Conowongo Creek and the Allegheny River. The town's name was given in honor of General Joseph Warren, a founding father of the United States and a Revolutionary War hero who was killed on Breed's Hill during the Battle of Bunker Hill. And during the summer and fall of 1795, surveyors General William Irvin and Andrew Ellicott, along with 17 soldiers, mapped out 546 lots with 6 streets running nearly east to west, 10 streets running nearly north to south, on Governor Mifflin's mandated 300 acres of land for town lots, 700 acres of adjoining land for outlots. In 1796, the Holland Land Company erected the first building in Warren, which was a structure built of hewn logs that served as the company's supply depot. In 1797, George Sloan became the first settler to build a cabin in Warren where he, his wife, and 2 small children lived. In 1832, April of 1832, the legislature passed an act establishing Warren as a borough. And on January 1st, 1978, Warren became a home rule municipality. On January 2nd, 1989, Borough of Warren municipal designation was officially changed to the City of Warren. Now, therefore, I, David Wortman, Mayor of the City of Warren, Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim April 18th, 2026 to be Commemoration Day in the City of Warren in celebration of the 231st anniversary of its establishment. Thank you very much for taking the time with me to recognize, an important part of our history, especially given the America 250 celebration that we have. I think it's amazing that and an honor for our city to be named after a Revolutionary War hero and a founding father of this nation. So at this point, I would like to bring up Melissa, if you wouldn't mind, and I think Melissa and Tiger are gonna pay us a visit up here, or I can go back there, whatever's easiest. Just have a guy that looked a lot like that.
Put his tux on for you guys.
Oh, you
today.
did? I love that.
I don't know if you can see us,
He's
but
got a
he's got his
tux on.
tux on for you.
So another proclamation tonight. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and we want to recognize that and bring a little bit more awareness within the community to such great efforts that the Child Advocacy Center provides to our community and our city. Because whereas every child deserves to be safe, nurtured, and supported in caring relationship, and every family deserves to be safe, nurtured, and supported in their community. And everyone has a role to play in preventing child abuse, and all citizens must become aware of the importance of supporting parents in raising their children in a safe and nurturing environment. And whereas too many of our community's children are exposed to extreme, sustained stress from abuse to neglect, which can be devastating to a child's development. Children in our community who have fallen victim to maltreatment deserve a high-quality, evidence-based services delivered by committed and well-supported professionals. Whereas the Warren County Children's Advocacy Center reminds us that child abuse can be prevented and that everyone has a role to play. An effective child abuse prevention program succeeds through community partnerships, created among families, social service organizations and agencies, schools, businesses, law enforcement agencies, faith-based organizations, and other child-serving agencies. Whereas it is easier to build strong and healthy children than to mend broken adults. Now therefore, I, David Workman, Mayor, do hereby declare April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Warren, Pennsylvania. Call upon all citizens, businesses, and institutions to dedicate themselves to the task of supporting the development of children in a safe and nurturing environment, free from the throes of abuse and neglect. And I want to thank you on behalf of the city for everything that you do to help our at-risk youth and all the services that you provide. Thank you very much for everything that you do. Mike, have anything that you'd like to say, or I don't put you on the spot a little bit, but just a little bit about maybe the Child Advocacy Center and the work that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think most of you in this room have had the pleasure of listening to me ramble about this for some time now. It is truly a passion. I'm lucky that, you know, my job gets to also be one of my passions in life. That's the true dream, right? To love what you do every day. The Children's Advocacy Center opened in Warren in our location in July of 2018. Since that day, almost 10 years now, we have seen close to 500 children that we've helped coordinate child abuse investigations for. And it's certainly one of the things we say often is it takes a village. So we work very often with law enforcement, we work with first responders, medical professionals, prosecution, mental health professionals, victim advocates. So, you know, the main cornerstones are providing help for victims of abuse, that pathway to justice, but also that piece of hope. And so I think things like this in the community, I know Savannah's on our board, things like this remind me that, you know, the days when we feel like we're doing it by ourselves, we're not doing it by ourselves. So I certainly appreciate this on behalf of our board, on behalf of Tiger, who's worked all day and is he's very tired, as you can tell. It is, we'd love to work ourselves out of a job, but until we can, we're grateful for all of the community support. Yes, I did.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the next item. We're very fortunate tonight to have the guest presenters from the Warren General Hospital, Mr. Rick Allen and Mr. Dan Grolemund, the retired CEO of Warren General Hospital and the current CEO of Warren General Hospital, talk to us about their capital campaign. To me, the Warren General Hospital is an absolutely critical piece of infrastructure from an infrastructure standpoint within the city for a lot of different reasons. It's difficult to talk it because it's so much more than infrastructure, but a community that has such a wonderful healthcare facility in the form of the Warren General Hospital is absolutely critical to the health and well-being, not only of the residents within the city of Warren in this region in total, but to the city itself. And please help me in welcoming Rick and Dan, and hopefully we'll talk more after the presentation. If there's any questions, feel free to address that. And thank you very much for taking the time to be here with us tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, City Council, for having Dan and I wish I had it all. Oh, well.
Borrow them.
Good borrow.
I don't know if they'll help you or hurt you.
Thank you. Again, I'm Rick Allen, retired Chief Executive Officer of Warren General Hospital. My pleasure to be here this evening. With me, Dan Grolemund, new and much younger Chief Executive Officer of Warren General Hospital. Almost 12 years ago, I arrived back in Warren, to a hospital that needed help. A hospital that was in operational straits, 0 days cash on hand, little money for any capital improvements. Over the next 12 years, we worked very, very hard, team at the hospital, to really turn the organization around to the jewel that it is today. Service improvements, facility improvements, recruitment of fine staff, physicians of all levels. It really has been an honor and a pleasure for me to spend the final years of my career making my hometown hospital, a hospital I was born in, to be an outstanding organization, independent organization, which is quite rare for community hospitals such as ours this day. Certainly we have partnered, and that was part of the success of the hospital, but a very, very unique partnership with Allegheny Health Network, Highmark, and LeCom Health, whereby they have a minority interest in our organization, therefore allowing us to remain an independent community hospital. As I sought to retire and began to work with Mr. Grolemund, bringing him on board, the board of directors asked, and we took a look at the last full-out capital campaign of the hospital, which was nearly 27 years ago. The Target Tomorrow capital campaign ended in 1999. So timing was right for a revised new capital campaign. Certainly over the years, this community has been very, very generous. Foundations, family foundations, individuals in supporting the hospital needs in unique ways. The Cancer Center, renovations to the Cancer Center, our robotic platform only 3 or 4 years ago, other exciting things at the hospital. But we have not had a full major capital campaign until now. So in my retirement, it has been my pleasure so far to work through the silent phase of the capital campaign beginning last September of 25. During that phase, we went out to the local foundations, family foundations, individuals, influencers, community influencers, those high wealth individuals in Warren, to really talk to them and gain their pledges and support for an overall capital campaign. I'm pleased to report during that silent phase, we were successful in raising over $5.4 million. A tremendous success, and the effort to really give us a push towards our goal of $7 million overall. The public phase has just begun through announcements, the Warren Times, social media, some materials that I believe all of you have. We've now began, and on our website, we began to announce the public phase. We're seeking the public support to get us over that goal line, to get us to that $7 million. We still have a couple of major donations being considered, one foundation, one local business. So we're hopeful that those will come through and that will really give us a push. But now we need the community's support. The hospital over the years has had success. This capital campaign will continue and will ensure our future success. As you may have read, items such as new MRI, CT scan, ultrasonography machines, a renovation to the pharmacy, compounding pharmacy within the Cancer Center, very technical renovation, well over $1 million for that pharmacy. Building renovations, and yes, some not so sexy renovations to the facility, such as new elevators. The elevators at the hospital are, dare I say, 1970-ish. I contend the squirrels are tired of running on their wheel to make those ropes go up and down. So new elevators. And this committee, this board may know, council may know, one bank of elevators, $800,000. And we have, Danny, 3 banks, 4 banks? 3. So the capital campaign is very, very important. Success, continued success of Warren General Hospital is critical, as the mayor mentioned. It certainly is a jewel here in our community. One only need to look to the east, to Keene County, Bradford, to understand what a failing hospital means to the community. We don't want that. We want to continue success in Warren County. Along with this capital campaign, I'm going to turn it over to Dan Grolemund now, the current CEO. It's part of an overall strategy of building on the past success and moving forward into the future to maintain our success. Dan?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dan Grolemund, new CEO here at Warren General Hospital. I'm so excited to be here. I was born at Warren General Hospital like Rick. I was born back in the 1970s. Lived in this community my whole life. Love this community. This is home. I went to the end of the high school and care so dearly much about this community. Our first patients were seen at Warren General Hospital in 1900. So with the help of this capital campaign, our hope is that we can be around for generations and generations to come. The latest reports have shown that 12 to 14 rural hospitals in Pennsylvania will be bankrupt in the next 5 years. So a capital campaign like this helps us to get ahead, helps us to get the money we need, and really puts us in a position of stability so that we can serve this community effectively for a long time in front of us. I don't know if you had time to look through your packet. We're very excited about what the future holds for us. So far, we've done a complete nursing overhaul at our hospital. Very proud of the nursing team that we now have in place. Our emergency room, which we look at as the front door to our hospital. We have physicians, 3 of them who are right here living in Warren County. They care about our residents. We have a new nursing manager, lives here in Warren County, cares about our patients that come through the door. We're so excited. We're now critical access hospital status. I don't know if anyone knows what that means, but it gives us financial stability. 64% of our patients are either Medicare or Medicaid patients. What critical access hospital status does is it makes us whole. Right now, Medicaid payments only give us about 64% of cost. So if it costs us $1,000 to care for a Medicaid patient, we're only getting $640 back. So you can see how our hospital, it's a very large challenge to survive in this environment. So critical access hospital has given us that stability moving forward. Just today, I was at Warren High School. We think our future here in Warren is our students. How are we going to develop our students into the next workers in healthcare at the hospital, at nursing home, state hospital? So we've started a homegrown workforce initiative. We had 5 professionals at Warren High School this afternoon, pharmacy, lab, imaging, physician, and nurse practitioner, talking about how our future relies on these folks. You've all seen the population declines. That's been the hot topic. Social media, our newspaper. We think getting our kids interested in healthcare. So many healthcare organizations in Warren County can't fill the positions, yet we have population decline. So we're trying to get kids to fall in love with healthcare. So I think in your packet, you have a list of 26 job shadowing experiences. We're inviting all these kids to come to our hospital, see what healthcare does, see what kind of rewarding career it can be. Back in November, we had 300 sophomores, juniors, and seniors walk through our hospital on one day. And it was a little bit of chaos. I won't lie about that. We had one young gentleman have to sit down in the lab because he saw blood and it didn't go well, but he knew that lab was not in his future. But that's the purpose, though. Let's find these kids a job in Warren County in a place that they love. Let's help get them scholarship money. Mark King has been big on, let's get these kids back here, Dan. So he's part of that homegrown workforce initiative. So we're really excited about what the future holds for Warren County and Warren General Hospital. I'm happy to take any questions that you have, though. Very excited about what we're doing.
The collaboration with the Allegheny Health Network and LECOM, what does that do for you?
So they have a minority interest, as Rick said. Right now, we get LECOM medical students, 16 medical students that come into our hospital. They're 3rd and 4th year medical students. So a doctor that we have starting next July, she was a medical student in our hospital. She came to Warren County. She fell in love with it. Her boyfriend has already joined the Elks Club. She's already looking at houses here. It's going to give us, we have challenges recruiting doctors to Warren PX. It gives us exposure to those kids when they're 3rd and 4th year medical students. And we hope to get them back. Allegheny Health Network, they provide doctors through their sister corporation called United States Acute Care Solutions, USACs. So their doctors are in our emergency room and our hospital side. So that's kind of the cooperation we have with them. We get doctors in our ER and our hospitalist side, plus we get medical students from Lease.
Yeah, question. You mentioned we're designated a critical access hospital.
Yes,
And you said something about certain category of patients, we only recover 64%. Does a critical access hospital designation allow you to recover more than 64%?
yes, we get made whole by the federal government.
Okay,
So no longer will we lose money on those patients. And at the end of the day, it might not sound like much. At the end of the day, it's a very large portion, almost $4 million difference to our bottom line. And Rick will tell you, every year for our older hospital, it takes $3 to $4 million just to keep up with capital expenditures each year.
With the federal designation, Will, I think there are 20 some
18 in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. It took time, over close to 2 years, to meet all the qualifications, become critical access designated. But we're successful now and running it for us. Good thing.
well, good job with that. Congratulations.
So some of this material I will leave with Tina. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't filled out a pledge form yet, I'm not shocked if no one has not. But I'll leave that with you, and we ask your support through the capital community.
So on that, how long does the campaign at this phase, are you targeting it to last? And then what can we do at the city level to help facilitate you reaching the goals set out for the capital campaign?
Thank you. The campaign will last until September.
Okay.
1 full year, so through the summer, early fall, wrap up in September. We will have and do have some donations or pledges at the naming level, the legacy level. So as an example, our cancer center will soon be named the Bob and Sally Cancer Center at Warren Regional Hospital. And we have a number of them. So throughout that time, and perhaps even beyond September, we'll have some ceremonies of naming. But truly, the campaign will run through September. Support can come in the way of making a donation, talking about it to your peers, colleagues, others, asking questions. I'm always available to answer any questions. I've begun presenting to different groups in the community, so I'm always going to be available for that, such as Lion, Rotary. I presented, had a night at Tonawanda Club the other night, CVCC coming up, the Women's Club. So any meeting like that, I'll be out presenting, talking about the capital campaign and what specifically we're looking to gain from it. So your support would be wonderful.
Fantastic. Do you have any additional questions? Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And again, if there's anything that we can do at the city level to help facilitate reaching the goal, it's such a, as you said it, it's a jewel within our city, and we wish you all the best in the campaign, and forward to hearing about great results. So thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you all.
Thank you, Ron.
Okay, that brings us to business section of tonight's agenda. So agenda item 9A. We have a proposed resolution, Calvary Baptist Church, minor subdivision. Mr. Rossi, letters.
Thank you, Mayor Wortman. Calvary Baptist Church filed a minor subdivision application to subdivide its property located at 445 Tonawanda Avenue, parcel number WN-573-859. Minor subdivision would create Lot 1, consisting of 4.27 acres, and Lot 2, 2.2 acres, from parcel number WN-573-859. Both lots will be retained by Calvary Baptist Church, with Lot 1 containing the church and parking area, and Lot 2 containing the parsonage and a 35-foot wide vehicular access right-of-way. Sitting Planning Commission reviewed the application at its March 18th, 2026 meeting and voted to recommend that it be approved by council. The Warren County Planning and Zoning staff reviewed the subdivision and also recommends council approval. Actions requested: council's consideration and motion regarding the proposed resolution approving Calvary Baptist Church minor subdivision. Enclosed, you will find the proposed resolution, subdivision plat, application, and Warren County planning letter. And also Mr. John Wagner is here representing the Calvary Baptist Church.
Thank you very much. So at this point, I'd like to offer up to the audience. I see that we're having, you don't have anybody on Zoom, but would anybody like to address the council on this particular agenda item? Wagner, others? Okay, I will turn the agenda item over to the floor, please.
Make a motion that we approve as submitted.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Mr. Law.
Randy, do we know what will the impact to taxes be with the subdivision? Will it impact the taxes received by the city at all?
I'm not really sure on it.
I think the value of the structures, you know, individually, is what it would be. I would, you know, ask Phil, but once you divide that, then, you know, that each will get their proportionate share based on their value.
What the tax that depending on the.
That was the reason for the question.
What about the parsonage?
Actually, I just assume in the long run, the idea is you're gonna sell the parts that help you make it private. Like, eventually it'll go back to the tax roll.
Yeah.
That's my,
Is that Mr. Wagner, is that?
That's correct. The intention is to sell off the lot.
Okay. So that would return back to actual, right? Then for the private resident. Okay. Good thing. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Ms. Flasher?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Cashman?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Mr. Champlin?
Yes.
Mr. Valella?
Yes.
Mayor Workman?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. Agenda item 9B, application for mural installation, Just Property LLC. Mr. Rossi, please.
Thank you, Mayor Workman. Just Property LLC, which owns westpa.net building, will submit a sign application for the installation of the mural on its building located at 216 Pennsylvania Avenue West. Plan calls for the mural to be 40 feet wide and 44 feet high and will be placed on the building's east wall, which is visible from the roundabout at Pennsylvania Avenue West and Market Street. The mural will be painted directly on the building by the artist Zehrco-Giancola and will depict key elements of importance to the city and its history. In accordance with subsection 470-63 of the city code, it is required that city council approve the mural rendering. It should be noted that Zehrco-Giancola has requested that the rendering not be publicly displayed to preserve the element of surprise as the work on the mural progresses. Therefore, council members were given an opportunity to briefly view the mural rendering prior to this meeting. Action requested: council's consideration and motion regarding the approval of the Jets Property LLC mural rendering. Enclosed is the city code 470-63.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to address the council on this agenda item? Okay, we'll turn that item over to the floor.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Valella.
I would make a motion that we approve Death Properties LLC in the mural rendering.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any question, comment, or debate?
Just a question about timeline, I suppose, if this is approved and then when potentially could it be completed?
The goal is to have it done before the 4th of July parade.
Oh, okay.
So is that one's in the next one?
Okay,
That's-
before the 4th, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't rain.
Right.
Or snow. I mean,
It snowed today.
Right.
all right, any further questions concerning this agenda item? Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Ms. Flasher,
Yes, that's
Miss-
major point.
Mrs. Casey.
Yes.
Mr. Cashman,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert,
Yes.
Mr. Champlin,
Yes.
Mr. Valella,
Yes.
Mayor Wortman.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, agenda item 9C, proposed agreement, City Just Properties LLC and Sarah Aiello, reference mural installation. Mr. Rossi, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wortman, and I do state that there are other people presenting tonight, other than just me. As noted in the above agenda item, Jets Property LLC agreed to allow a painted mural to be installed on the east wall of its property located at 216 Pennsylvania Avenue West. City is coordinating this project, which will utilize private funding. An agreement identifying and stipulating each party's responsibilities of participation within the project has been drafted for council's consideration. In the event that any party to the agreement should request a change in the wording or any item of the agreement following council's approval, only those changes which the city solicitor deems to be of a non-substantive nature will be implemented without council's approval. Action requested, council's consideration and motion regarding the proposed agreement pertaining to a mural to be installed at 216 Pennsylvania Avenue West. Enclosed proposed agreement between City, Jets Property LLC, and Sarah Aiello.
Thank you very much. I'll just ask, does anybody have any intention to address the council on any agenda items tonight? Okay, so we will put this agenda item on the floor. Won't have to say that again. All right. Okay. Okay, Mr.
I have a
Cash.
number of questions. On section 1 or section 2, site preparation and that. It says that essentially the city will be responsible for any masonry work. How is that going to get paid?
The cost of this project is the cost of the mural, and there's also an associated cost with pointing the building prior to the mural. That cost has been totaled, and we've had a couple of foundations pony up. There's a little bit left to get. We are working diligently to get the rest of it together. So.
And if it's not, because if we pass this agreement, whatever shortfall on the funding in that would come to our responsibility to finish it off. I'm just wondering if that's the
If it certainly comes to that before city staff were to commit to that, we would certainly come back to council.
which would delay this project.
Yes, but we are hopeful that it will be funded and done by the 4th of July. If not, we will let council know.
Council know that you're funding it, or
Let council know how it's going to be.
7A. It says the project is completed prior to first party's parade. Not our parade. The city's parade. Or the July committee.
Yes, I guess technically speaking, the 4th of July parade is a special event by the 4th of July committee. I could ask the solicitor to try to change that, right?
I think I can.
Okay. I think.
10D. It says the responsibility for maintaining the mural shall pass to any subsequent owner of property. Maintaining or that they won't let it be defaced?
I think the concept of that was to make sure that if the jets really were to be sold to another owner, they would not paint over the mural for 15-year duration.
I want to just say that then.
Solicitor, is that not what that point was depicting? Or not?
What number did you say? I'm sorry, Mr. Cashman.
It's 10B. It's maintaining rather than painting over. Just saying that they won't paint over it. Why don't we just say that?
My understanding was that it could be, maybe it needs repointed, or maybe the paint needs touched up. I think there could be.
I think that's covered someplace else where the city would do that. For the artist, at another cost.
And that could be you're right about that. But yeah, this was, the owner of the property wanted some assurance that if the building gets sold, he wanted some assurance too, that somebody isn't gonna come in and just say, oh, I don't like this anymore, and it's gone. I mean, if it gets sold in a year, we certainly don't want that to happen.
Yeah, but maintaining and making sure that you don't fade it over, two different things. That, at least in my view, that's just my comment. Anybody else have any? I have two others. Then on 12B, where first party agrees to defend, indemnify, and hold second party, third party, and third party member, blah, 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 blah. You're indemnifying them, right? And then on 12D, we said we will add them as an additional insured for the full 15 years. Wondering why we need to do that.
Actually, it doesn't specify 15 years. It says for as long thereafter as a mural remains on property.
Right. Good point that up.
Somewhere, I think there's a 15 in here now.
I'm wondering why we need to be an additional insured. The whole time it's on there, What are we insuring anyway?
If there's anything, any negligence, gross negligence or willful misconduct of the city with regard to the mural, which there really shouldn't be because we're not the ones performing the work or anything like that. That's when we're agreeing to hold the other parties harmless if there's error on the part of the city.
Well, that's indemnifying, isn't it? Rather than
That was
rather than adding insurance.
That was
Insurance is, physical policy. Naming.
that my comment was to 12B. I don't know that there's a cost to add anybody as an additional insured.
Still saying whether there's a cost or not, why are we doing that? Better, the question that need to be answered. Then the question is there an additional cost?
I think this was a request from the owner of the building, wasn't it?
It was from, it was from the Jets owner.
And why did they need that?
Well, suppose we deny the request. I don't know, what insurance policy does this go on?
I guess.
What's the premium for the coverage?
Well, I guess this is a bad answer, but generally speaking, additional insured on insurance policies already no cost thing. Generally, insurance companies don't have a problem doing that if the owner abides by it, so. Again, it's not a great answer, but that's the answer I have. That doesn't answer the question you asked.
Normally those are short, rather than here we're looking at least 15 years.
Perpetual.
For perpetual is.
The 15 is spelled out in 7.
I know, but it doesn't say that here. That's how long you have to have an additional insured. I just don't, it baffles me as to why we need to have. I can understand why we would offer insurance while the mural's being painted and the building being repointed. But thereafter.
What if that was changed to say during the application of the mural. And I don't know how involved we would be if it's repaint, if there needs to be touch-up work, or if we need, how involved we'll be with that. And we could certainly limit that, go back to her and limit that.
We could.
Yeah. There's no use.
My thought on the, as long as the mural remains on the property, around town, I've seen old cigar murals, for cigar stores, and an old Coca-Cola mural on the sides. They must have been done maybe in the 1800s. We're not paying insurance on those. And, yeah, it was just length of time here. It looked to me like this is perpetual.
Well, back in those days, was not a litigious type society.
Yeah.
As it is today. Okay, so the outcome of that, and can you, Mr. Stapleford, can you,
Well,
the recommendation is just to delete that and run that by,
we could even just, first party agrees to add third party as an additional insured to first party's insurance policy while the mural project is being completed.
Right.
Good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
End of there.
that's, I have no problem with that. Okay, additional questions or comment? Ms. Flasher.
With that adjustment, would it have to go back to the second party? If you agree, then it come back to council, and if so, is that going to affect our timeline? It has to, are we gonna?
I would think that's probably non-substantive, or at least discussed here, so.
Well, if she won't accept that change, then I think we have to have another discussion.
If you want to accept that change, then we'll
We'll be back.
have to have a special meeting.
So we
Right.
can move and approve this with the suggested edit, and okay.
Yeah, and only if she has an issue with it would we have to come back.
Okay, additional questions or comment? And if not, can we get a motion in a second?
I'll make a motion, we approve as amended.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any final questions, comment, or debate? Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Ms. Flasher?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Cashman?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Mr. Champlin?
Yes.
Mr. Valella?
Yes.
Mayor Wortman?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you very much. And just a comment, I think this is a tremendous opportunity for the city. This is one of the items that's called out in our comprehensive plan. The work that Sarah Aiello does, if you've had an opportunity to follow any of her work in other areas within this region, it's quite phenomenal. And her social media presence, when she starts the project and builds and really brings the community together, and it's an amazing community engagement opportunity. And the timing of it, ideally to start in May and to finish up by the 4th of July as this community continues to prepare for America 250 activities and celebration of our history and heritage. I think it's just a phenomenal opportunity, and look forward to continuing on with the project. Fantastic. So thank you.
I would only add into, I think the Oil City mural has been redone. And I noticed that Waterford has several now, and it really spruces up the town, and gives an inviting look.
Sure does.
I'm looking forward to getting this one underway.
The Warren County 4th of July. Okay, agenda item 9B, Allegheny Riverfront Development, Redevelopment Project, Proposed Master Plan RFP. Mr. Holtz, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A group of representatives from WCCBI, the mayor, and the city manager met over the past couple months with an objective of hiring a consulting firm that would develop a master plan for the Allegheny Riverfront. And the group interviewed three firms, following which interested firms were to submit a written proposal. The firms of Paschik, Larson, and Carley, LSSE civil engineers and surveyors submitted a proposal. The cost for a master plan to be completed within 90 days is $40,310 for LSSE and $39,330 for Paschik. It should be noted that when choosing professional firms, the city is not required to choose based strictly on cost, as in the case of a construction project. The group then met to review and discuss each proposal. Both proposals were very well received, and after discussion, it was agreed that Paschik be the recommended firm. This recommendation was largely due to the familiarity working with PLK and the firm's local connection to the area. The city has successfully worked with them over the years on various projects and has been very satisfied with their performance. WCCBI has committed $20,000 towards this project, and then the city would be responsible for the balance of $19,330. Action requested is council's consideration and motion regarding the recommendation to engage at Paschik, Larson, Carley to develop a master plan for the Allegheny Riverfront Development Project, and also committing $19,330 from the city's general fund towards the project. Enclosed are the two proposals. Anybody have any questions regarding that?
Thank you very much. Just a comment before we turn it over to the floor. The Riverfront Development Project, as everybody knows, is truly, the community's project. And to be able to continue to take this to the next step, as we've discussed in a lot of our meetings internally and externally with the public, the areas 2, 3, and 4, and the feedback that we have gotten in terms of the types of amenities and things that we want to see as this project develops out is certainly going to take a holistic approach in completely engaging not only the citizens within the city, but the business and the community and the philanthropic organizations to be able to put something together at the professional level, to be able to take out possible future investors and donors into this project. It's absolutely critical at this point to have a professional rendering of what is possible for that riverfront development project. I know that based on where Area 1, which is the boat launch itself, is, and looking at the construction horizon, possible start, or the targeted start of spring of 27, this enables us to continue on with the progress and engage those types of organizations that have the wherewithal and the desire to invest in such a critical project within the city. I also want to call out the public-private partnerships that we've achieved so far, throughout this whole process. And the latest being the WCCBI investing in this portion of the activity concerning the riverfront development. As you recall, we've had great success with grant funds, whether it's from the DCNR to other grant opportunities, the investment from the county commissioner's office, the city itself. This is a continuation of people and organizations that are wanting to invest in the next steps within this project, because they also recognize the importance to the city. So just wanted to offer that up just to kind of refresh, some of the years-long conversations that we've had surrounding the Riverfront Development Project. So with that, I'll turn it over to the floor for additional questions or comments, and take it from there.
Mr. Mayor.
And at this point, Netta Lindell, from the WCCBI is also with us. So I'm just gonna offer up if there's any questions that are directed towards, WCCBI, if you wouldn't mind, fielding those, as well, that would be great. Mr. Bilal, please.
So looking at the split, right, 19,330. I noticed the cost of services, I'm guessing, is broken down by man hours. Is that a correct statement? How confident are we that this isn't going to vary? Right, we're not gonna see that cost creep.
I'm fairly confident. We worked with them, we worked with this firm before, and they're pretty good about that. Not a construction project where those are a little tougher.
And one of the other things I think is worth calling out, as part of that proposal, there are at least 4 engagements with that firm and the city and other interested parties, so we can continue to monitor progress and do what I call an azimuth check to make sure that we're tracking in the right direction. But certainly that's something that will be kept a close eye on. But
Question I have, maybe questions. We have not, we've gone out to the public. I don't know how many suggestions we've had, 20, 30. So we haven't decided what we want into the various areas. And I'm just wondering, why are we engaging these people now when we haven't made those decisions? And I'm just thinking maybe we should make those decisions and then tell these people here, this is what we want to render it of. And maybe it might even change their time frame, price, or whatever. So my view is, I'm not against this by any stretch, but my view is that I think this is a step that should not be taken until we've made, or whoever is going to be making it. And I remember Danielle saying we want to go back to the public in June
I think
and have another engagement with them in that. So if we pass this now, we would just say you're holding until we can make or whoever's going to make the decision. What's going down there, I assume that will come back to council for final approval. So I just think that we're a step ahead of ourselves.
Isn't part of their process to go to the public and get their feedback, then put that into the plan?
Yeah, but who's going to make that decision?
these are all really good questions, and that's a good point. So kind of the chicken and the egg kind of debate, but we have the input, and part of this process is to give at least three looks on what is possible in that area, and then to pull in their expertise in terms of doing these types of projects and give renderings that aren't a final solution in terms of this is exactly what's going to go there, but to give us and the public an opportunity to view what these renderings would tell us. And then that will facilitate us not only to be able to make those decisions, because ultimately as a city project and city ownership, that has to come in front of this council in terms of these are the things that we would be comfortable with down, because we're ultimately as the city going to be the owner. But in order for us to be able to take that information back out to the public, we have to have that expertise from these landscaping type firms to be able to depict that to us, that we can present that to the public. And then as part of those conversations, those entities that would be interested in actually funding some of this work that we're looking for in that area. So
I still am asking a question. It's going to take, how many ideas have we had?
Well, to dovetail a little bit into what the mayor just said, when we did the survey a little over a year ago, we had almost 40 suggestions of things to go in there. course, we had an array of just about everything. And the thought was if we were to engage in this consultant, you know, the consultants know that. The thought was get them on board, get them steered. We even thought about having a meeting the second or third week in May with the consultant, as similar to the one we had last year. Not necessarily make it a start over meeting of what do you want, maybe a continuation meeting that says, hey, last time around, we were here, we got an input of 40 things. Here's our consultant, here's our council. You know, what are we trying to do to get those down to the 10 things we're going to do or whatever, then come up with 3 drawings or 3 different sets of things, and then ultimately decide what those things would be.
But who's gonna make that decision?
Well, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's and again, there's to speak to procedures in the book. It's a park, it's a preservation area. So like things that would go to the planning commission to get vetted, and it goes to Parks and Rec Commission to get vetted. City staff gives an opinion, and then it comes to council. All those 3 steps where we then present the council the things that we think go in there with a rhyme or reason behind why we picked them based on the consultant, planning commission, Parks and Rec, and city staff.
Need a consultant to do that.
Well, the mayor stated, one of the factors is to hopefully get a document or something to go out and market and try to fund. That was the other piece of the pie.
But you would do that. In other words, what I'm saying is, if you took those 40 projects and maybe because of space constraints and what have you, plantings and what have you, get it down to 5. You give them the 5 to this, they do a rendering, then you take it out for funding. Well, to that point, we are really taking the approach that with this idea of tapping into that expertise of the firms that have actually designed and built these types of facilities and soliciting from them their input based on, okay, here's what our public is saying. We're coupling that up with their extensive real world experience on building projects such as this. Say, this is what we see in terms of what is effective and what works best in the communities where we've done these types of projects, and give us, it's going to be an iterative process going back and forth until we kind of shake out, in the end, this is what the project's going to be. And even when I think, when we say this is the final, it really then gets into, the back and forth on how things get funded and which things get funded and at what time. But absent that, we don't have anything that we can take back out to the public and say, here are the best ideas in terms of what goes down there. So I would say that really the expertise that we are trying to bring in as part of this process with this recommendation is absolutely critical to be able to advance this project the way I think that the community deserves. I think we need to do that on the upfront. Ms. Flasher?
Well, to Mr. Cashman's point, so we're saying we have 40 ideas, and then it'll be pared down through other avenues in the city, through planning commission, what have you. Will that happen before we engage in this, or is that like a parallel path? Like we will sign on to them, and then we will pair, then we will
I
give them.
envisioned it as a parallel path, and maybe this firm has an idea that's not one of the 40 that they've seen somewhere else that would be this idea really works well because it draws something in kind of out of the box, new set of eyes looking at it. That was the theory. Parallel.
And I'd also like to remind, last month, we also formed, internal to this body, the Riverfront Development Committee that, in my mind, the iterative approach in terms of marrying up the input that we've gotten to date from the public, our own internal thoughts, professional firm that does this for a living, their expertise that are bringing into these conversations, to help with those 4 engagements that are built into this proposal, to steer this project. So in the end, we have those professional level renderings that we can take out to the public and to possible funders for the project.
And we as a committee felt like that, the committee itself, figure out where our spot was, and we did kind of settle on this juncture where when it comes down to the amenities vetting and we're starting to see things come to fruition, where that committee would have some almost, I don't know, I see the table at least from a council perspective to be able to have some sort of.
The 3 committees formed, that's probably the one that I still haven't figured out where the home is yet.
And I think this
We'll
might be a
get there.
good place to kind of see it, because we're at a point with the Riverfront, we've got to do something, we've been sitting on it for a long time and we're not getting any younger, so it's about time that we
Just
do
20 years,
something.
just 20 years.
Yeah, there's a few decades, that's all, but
We're getting closer.
slowly but surely.
Well, it sounds to me like you're gonna rely on this, firm to make decisions. And I don't know if that's the case, then I don't know why we're going back out to the public. Because the public has already voiced their opinion, what they thought should go there. And if we're going back up, listen to them again, these people are, it sounds to me like they're gonna make the decision.
No, they're not. No, that's not the intent in any way. They are helping and facilitating us to take that group of that input and to put it into something that is realistic, buildable, and then, is the best benefit that ties in not only the riverfront but with the rest of the park system. And, the idea of bringing people that are coming into the city for that purpose, to bring them into our downtown. There's a lot of reasons to do that, but they're not making the decisions. They're facilitating us to be able to depict in a professional way what this project is gonna be. Ms. Flasher?
We just got this on Friday, this is quite big, so I apologize if I missed it. Do they have like public comment periods while they're kind of developing these renderings and they're taking these 40 ideas and they're talking with the committee, they're talking with us on council? Like, will there be opportunities for them to
Yes.
allow for public input?
Yeah, the May meeting that was discussed a week ago wasn't, and more to Mr. Cashman's standpoint, we did not want to go back out and start over. Frankly, we'll get the same 40 answers, so.
I do think there's.
It was more of a continuation meeting to start to say, hey, we're starting to funnel this down, and the year's gone by and
Yeah,
we're doing something.
I definitely think it's gonna be very important that we have some community buy-in. Like I would talk about this on the committee, and I think that Mr. Cashman's point, I mean, it's not about starting over, but making sure that we're developing something that people are gonna want to frequent, bring their family, who want to come down and spend their money, to want to spend their time there. And I think it's very important to make sure that we're guided by the people want, as cliche as that sounds, but it's a fine line, which I totally understand it, I get it, but it's my prerogative.
There's always that question, is there an amenity that's a unique silver bullet amenity, like, oh, we have to put a warm because they have this, not just a playground, this and time. I don't know what this is, because I'm a right brain guy.
But in their tasks under the cost of services, there are provisions for public meeting, prior project coordination meetings, up to 4 to 2 hours each, et cetera. So that's part of the plan. Scoped out task.
Still haven't answered the question, how we call this down. From 40 project, maybe down to 5. And also what I heard from one of you is saying that the consultant firm will say, we may have another idea that works in other areas. So they too alter this from what the public, not entirely, but what the public want. I mean, they have the expertise because they've done a number of these. Tonight.
Concept, right?
What?
This is just conceptual, right? Like this is not like a hard and fast construction contract. Like this is like this concept of viability, here's what you could do.
No, at the end of this exercise, the hope is, the hope is that we actually pick amenities with a price tag on it to go out and start funding those things.
But that's what I mean. So like, there's some room to that point where if they come up with an idea, like, we think this would work, we have the right to be like,
Well, yeah,
no.
at the end of the day, when this document gets ready to get tied up on a bow, that's come in front of the board to get through. That's the deal.
So to round out to Mr. Cashman's question, is PLK gonna be kind of the decision maker on how the 40 gets whittled down, or will the planning commission, other committees be involved also?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
everybody's gonna have a.
everybody has a choice, I think.
Oh, no, it'll be a-
Except us,
It'll be,
they'll just come with a final product.
well, I guess it's interesting you say that, all those meetings that we rattled off, going forward.
They're public.
Like the mural, we had no input to it.
Well, that's another.
I mean, as an artist, I wouldn't want to be told how to do my art either, so.
You know, may want to say, like this
Sure.
image, put in also. At any rate, I'm happy.
Any additional questions or comment? Go ahead, and then I'm gonna say one more.
Okay, so this committee that kind of put this together, is that a public committee that if we wanted to attend these discussions, we could, or is this more of the committee discusses and we get reports on that?
The committee that's gonna be the back and forth of the city.
Yeah, like the committee that kind of put this
I
idea
guess I
together.
envision the committee getting, a kickoff meeting with folks from planning commission and Parks and Rec, but, after that, once they get rolling, I'm not probably engage the group more than the committee. you know
Okay,
what
so it's
I
not gonna be regular standing meetings that we
would-
can attend to be
mean? I
part
don't
of?
envision that, no.
Okay,
Again, I think
No.
the committee, the council committee, to the extent that schedules allow and willingness to be plugged in, I think it's fully appropriate that
Okay.
that committee is involved with this process.
yeah, fully agree,
Uh,
totally agree.
And then my only comment is that one of the challenges for this project all along is because it is truly, in my mind, the community's project. And trying to, balance the inputs and the decision-making authority, something that we always need to be considerate of. And I'll just leave it at that, but we need to just continue, those are great questions to continue to ask in terms of where those decision authorities lie. And good questions. So.
Part of it we're looking to is the chambers putting in half of this. Are they providing input in this at all?
No, outside of the public input that we've currently received, there hasn't been any additional input other than they are fully on board with us being able to engage a professional firm, because I'm not going to speak and Netta can talk to it, but there is a strong desire within the business community and within the WCCPI to assist with funding aspects of the project. But in order for that to happen, we need to have these professional renderings and concept plans, because they also want to be fully engaged with seeing this project get built. But there's not another list of, other than the public input, if that's your choice. Yeah, no. All good and great questions.
I'll make a move that we approve as submitted.
Okay.
Do we have a motion and a second? Any additional question, comment, or debate? Okay. Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Ms. Fleischer,
Yes.
Mrs. Casey,
Yes.
Mr. Cashman,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert,
Yes.
Mr. Champlin,
Yes,
Mr. Valella,
Yes.
Mayor Wortman.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, agenda item 9E, proposed agreement Zehrco-Giancola Composites Incorporated parking lease. Mr. Holtz, please.
Thank you. The city has previously entered into agreements with business owners to lease city-owned parcels located on Clark Street for the sole purpose of providing parking for customers, employees, and vendors. The city received a request from Zehrco-Giancola Composites, Inc., owner of the former INP building, to lease parcel WN 5767882 is a city-owned lot not currently subject to a lease. City staff and the solicitor, we reviewed the request and an agreement was drafted for council's consideration. In the event that Giancola requests a change in the wording of any term of the agreement following council approval, only those changes when the solicitor deems to be non-substantive nature will be implemented. Council's consideration and motion regarding the proposed agreement between the city and Zehrco-Giancola and Faded Floral LLC for the lease of parcel WN 5767882. Encloses the proposed lease agreement and the map. Anybody have any questions regarding that?
So Faded Floral is moved.
No, they're just gonna share in the lease down there. Faded Floral was in the old bake shop.
I know. Oh, they're in the old bait shop.
Right.
They dumped town.
Yeah,
They were on the 400 block and then they moved to the bake shop.
When did that
a year and a half ago.
happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were almost close, so it's
I
okay.
think it's something up by floors.
White Rose Mall.
Okay, would anybody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any question, comment, or debate? Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Flasher?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Cashman?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Mr. Champlin?
Yes.
Mr. Valella?
Yes.
Mayor Wortman?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you very much. Agenda item 9F, proposed ordinance, removal of mid-block crosswalk. Chief Scriveri, please.
Thank you. Fred Watson, owner of Warm Pet Shop, addressed City Council at the February 16th regular meeting regarding the mid-block crosswalk located in the 200 block Pennsylvania Avenue West. His two concerns were that motorists frequently park in the adjacent areas that are marked for no parking and a need for additional parking spaces. As requested by Mayor Wortman, city staff reviewed this matter and determined that there are multiple factors which support the removal of the crosswalk, including number one, the construction of the roundabout crosswalk located at Penn Avenue West and Market Street reduced the distance between that crosswalk and the crosswalk located at the intersection of Penn Avenue West and Liberty Street. And this portion of Penn Avenue West is a city-owned route and therefore is not subject to PennDOT warrants pertaining to the location of crosswalks. And number three, the merchants and their customers will be better served if the mid-block crosswalk is removed and replaced by additional metered parking space. In addition, city staff contacted the other merchants in the 200 block and all indicated that they are in favor of removing the crosswalk and adding additional parking. Action requested. Council consideration of the ordinance providing for removal of the mid-block crosswalk within the 200 block Penn Avenue West and further providing that it is to be replaced by metered parking spaces. Enclosure is the proposed ordinance 440-39 of the city code and photos of the mid-block crosswalk.
Thank you very much. Turn it over to the floor. Any questions for Chief Scriveri?
How many additional parking spaces?
Joe Rankin measured it and minimum 5, best case scenario 6. What he came up with.
Ms. Flasher?
And should this pass, is there a tentative timeline of when it would occur?
Whatever it be.
Whenever it doesn't snow.
Good answer, okay.
We have to paint the work, we have to paint, the road's gotta be warm.
Mhm.
Not gonna happen tomorrow.
I make a motion that we table this for a month.
on my life right today. I went downtown. I went to every business I could, speak to them in person. I won't call out which businesses I visited because I told them it was confidential. They could talk to me, and I felt like they would be more open. I didn't call them out and, you know, use their name or anything. And there were several that they weren't aware of this. I'm not sure where the confusion is. There were some that weren't in favor. They were shocked. They were upset. I'm not sure where that's coming from. There's miscommunication, something of the sort. I don't know. I know the Faith Inn, they use that as like a loading, unloading area. Granted, it's not supposed to be used for that. I understand. I have concerns on the individuals that use the Faith Inn and handicap and that sort of stuff. I also have questions for the bus that occasionally drops kids there. They use that crosswalk. I also want to see an overview map over top to see where those parking spots are going to be. And also there's a driveway that comes out where the hydrant is. I don't know if we're adding, I know we're not adding a spot right next to that hydrant, but if we're adding one down a little ways, will that provide clearance for when people pull out of that driveway? Will they be able to see traffic? And that was one complaint from a business owner where they pull out of that driveway, they can't see traffic a certain way.
Probably left for the building.
So I think there's a lot of unanswered questions, and I just think we should go back to business owners just to have another discussion and communicate maybe a little bit better with them, figure out what's going on.
Well, I can't answer the business owners. I was under the impression that guys, when you speak to that, I can speak to the Faith Inn. I can speak to that.
So I didn't personally make contact at the far extreme end towards Liberty Street, but all of the ones in the immediate vicinity of the crosswalk, they were all in favor regarding the unloading zone. So mid-block crosswalks are inherently dangerous, and the reason that those stripes are there is sort of sight distance for oncoming traffic for that crosswalk. So part of Mr. Watson's point, which was valid, is that there's people parking there anyways. So it eliminates the sight distance for people on a crosswalk. So them using it for a loading zone, by nature, it would have to be one or the other. So liability wise, and this is what staff came up with as a conclusion, is that it would greater reduce liability to the city to move the crosswalk altogether with no unloading zone and then additional parking space. And then furthermore, there is an avenue if somebody's expecting orders for delivery, if they get a hold of DPW prior, we can put out road cones to reserve their spots right in front of their businesses. It's not clean how it is now. In my opinion, this is the way to make it the cleanest. We can definitely, whatever council directs us to do, we can, revisit it. But regardless, one of the two things needs to happen. If there is consideration for a loading zone, that crosswalk has to go away.
Number one, it's a gore area to fix sight distance for a mid-block. As we know, the reality is the loading zone where everybody puts their flashers on to get food from the restaurant forever. Interesting, you talk about the Faith Inn, the executive director of the Faith Inn emailed us about this concern. I called her and talked to her for a while. They have parking out back that they do not really want to use because it's not close to the door. And she acknowledged the fact that they use that sometimes where they shouldn't. And after a discussion, said, yes, I understand why you're doing it. So Faith Inn concern is a little interesting because we spoke to her and she agreed that it needed to go. We do not have a loading zone in the city. We had one on Liberty Street forever for the Rent Me place. And it was not fun. Nobody liked it. The police didn't like it. The merchants didn't like it. Used. This one's the same way. It's very cleaner if we just get rid of it. And the truth is, the mid-block crosswalk, from the J. Edgar Schneider standpoint, probably doesn't meet. It's like you've had to take out remember, because you have been on council, we've taken out 3 since I've been here. I know it's on PennDOT Street, but that one does not meet the site distance. The Blair one didn't meet the site distance, that one certainly is not gonna meet the site distance. So, you know, I can understand the business owner thing is confusing to me because the chief said most of those were happy about it or didn't have an opinion either way, but beyond the parking problem, it's not a good situation because it's an abused area.
To be clear, I'm not saying let's do a loading zone or anything like that. I just think we need to revisit those businesses just to make sure everything's kosher, I guess. Just want to develop a better relationship.
I guess I will go visit the businesses. I did not go visit the business, but I guess I'm gonna go visit this because I'm a little confused. I was told that they were all okay, but that's okay. It's nobody's fault. We'll take a look, but businesses aside, it's a situation as we have now, there's issues with it. That's my take.
Ms. Fleischer.
Good question. Mr. Gilbert is asking to table this. Are we able to compartmentalize where if we were to pass this, just to approve the removal of a sidewalk and then do some discussions with business owners and then make a decision of what that will then turn into, or is it kind of all one? You'll get me very confused that should that not come out.
I went to sidewalks, start over.
So Mr. Gilbert wants the table, so we can get more clarity on the business owner's perspective. This is providing the removal of that mid-block crosswalk, but this is just removal. This is not what then will take its place. It's not removal and adding parking spaces. It's just removing that for now. And then after you talk with businesses, are we able to then determine whether it could be a loading zone or parking spots, or is this kind of like an all-in-one?
The problem is this whole discussion is, brought to light the fact that we have a mid-block crosswalk that probably is not meets standards, and we have a gore area that's used as a loading zone for things such as waiting to get my food.
Okay.
And so, we have Fred Watson's came to us for parking, and we've uncovered some other issues that probably need to be rectified.
Okay.
Got it.
I'm with you.
Because the gore area is not being abused, the crosswalk is probably not meet standard.
Well, most of it's gone now anyway. I don't speak anymore.
I think the best option is to move forward and ask that before we restripe it and so forth, that we talk to the business owners. If we don't see any problems, go ahead and stripe it as proposed. It sounds like you've talked to quite a number of people.
The closest ones, and
Yeah.
there's,
And,
places further west, no, I did not.
I mean,
And this just seems to me like to be a win-win.
yeah, I mean, I understand where the Faith Inn got a hold of you, because they had some concerns, and like I said, they weren't overly happy, but they understood and they acknowledged that they use the gore area for things that, and they have parking out back. They have 2 spaces out back that really should be used. But Faith Inn or the EOC aside and the other stuff. Yeah. I've never heard of a merchant that didn't want more parking.
The other reality is where everything's going off now, there shouldn't be parking.
Yeah.
Nobody should be parking there, so then our mindset was that, well, we're gonna give them maybe a half dozen extra spaces.
And that was the problem.
With crosswalk.
And that was a problem with the rent me loading zone for 10 years. We got inundated with calls regularly about how troubling that was. Because every time a truck went out to get unloaded, somebody was over the floor lanes over the drugstore. Another story.
Okay, so at this point, the action requested is consideration of an ordinance providing for the removal of the mid-block crosswalk, and further providing that it be replaced by metered parking space. Want to make sure that everybody's clear on what is being asked of the council. I make Mr. Gilbert
had proposed a motion to table it. If we go down that road, just refresh everybody's memory, it would have to be motion, a second, and then we'd have to vote on that. But we'll get to that in a second. And Mr. Valella, I think you have a question or a comment.
In regards to the motion to table, I mean, what's the fire that we have to do this right now?
He showed up in February and signed me and now it's for you to decide.
And that's fair, and I know that the due diligence has been done, and I think if we're gonna remove the crosswalk, I would also appreciate the knowing of the number of spaces, right, with a top-down view. You said 5, maybe 6, right? Do we have to go out and?
Because of the fire hydrant in that alleyway, go on the north side lane, traveling westbound, you might be able to fit an extra one in, maybe not. That would be the difference between 5 and 6.
Based on that information, I would second the motion to table.
Okay, we have a motion to table this until next meeting, next month, pending things that we just discussed. The second, is there any further question, comment, or debate? Ms. Flash?
Well, we've provided some feedback from
I was gonna ask if we approve the tabling, how late do we do that? What exactly council want us to do?
Okay.
So we'll wait on that.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table. Any further questions, comment, or debate? Mrs. Leary, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Flasher?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Cashman?
No.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Mr. Champlin?
Yes.
Mr. Valella?
Yes.
Mayor Wortman?
Yes.
Motion carries with 6 votes in the affirmative.
And just so we're clear, what would you like staff to come back with? Just so we know.
I got bird's eye view of spots that we're actually gonna add.
Right.
They're showing the hydrant, the driveway, et cetera. And just touching base with all the business owners in that area if possible,
Do you define all
within that block rate.
between Liberty and?
I'll
Remember even market and.
I'll have a little written list who I visit.
Okay.
Don't worry,
Why does it want you to walk all the way to Pennsylvania
I'll
Avenue?
take care of it.
Just that.
That block.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it's a school drop zone, right, Phil? I think there's somebody that could.
From the
drop
talks,
off.
it seemed like sometimes the bus is there, sometimes it's not. I don't really know.
Maybe
if it's-
clarification on that too, if it is a
Yeah.
drop zone for students.
I don't think it really
Student
clear.
club, the conservatory.
Yeah, but they,
Trying to
don't
do-
they have
oh, for
their
the day.
flashers?
You're talking about
just
actually,
yeah,
it was sort of the
Students for
That's
space
vague
there for the
to do.
conservatory or?
I'm not sure.
I'm not-
exactly.
I they had student space then, I know they have EOC down here.
Just,
I don't,
What was your question?
are we talking a school, we're talking an actual school bus?
from the talk, it sounded like it was a school bus that was dropping off kids. I don't know if there's kids occasionally that go to the faith in maybe once in a while.
I'll find out.
I don't know how that process works. Mother.
Whatever it is, they got 4-way flashers. so
Yeah,
they
but
gotta
that's
stop.
That's
you
what
know, and they only let them up to the curb.
Yeah.
So that should never be an issue.
Shouldn't be.
I think I know
What is it?
Okay.
Just a suggestion, when you do approach those businesses, some of them may not have if you can have the aerial picture that people are talking about,
That's a great suggestion.
it shows, hey, this is what you're gonna get.
Make aerial
Let's be, you know,
with
either for it or against it.
Yeah, get that picture. I think it's build whatever, get taken away from it.
Yeah.
Some cash.
All right, yes, excellent suggestion, Mr. Camplin.
Thank you.
Appreciate the work that's gone into this up to this point. I know that it brought up in February and we're continuing to take a look at how to make that situation better. I think we've identified a number of things, obviously through conversation that specific to the mid-block crosswalk that needs to be addressed sooner than later. We'll just take it from there. So appreciate another look at it and put it on the May agenda. Okay, agenda item 9G, boards and commission resignations. Mr. Holtz, please.
Thank you. Douglas Hearn submitted an email tendering his resignation to the Redevelopment Authority and the blighted property review committee effective as of today. Should be noted that Mr. Hearn served as the RDA's representative to the BPRC and the RDA, and the RDA will designate an authority member to fill his seat on the BPRC. Duncan Sturgeon was first appointed to fill the term of a vacant seat on the Parks, Recreation, Landscape Commission in October of 24. He was then later appointed to serve a full 4-year term. Unfortunately, he has been able to attend very few of the commission's meetings. Bylaw states in part, on 3 consecutive missed meetings, unless having been excused by the commission, member will be asked to relinquish their seat on the commission. He has also not attended a meeting since August of 2025 and had verbally communicated his intent to resign from the commission. Actually, I have talked to him on 2 different occasions on the phone, and he has indicated to me he's aware, he's willing, and will email me his resignation. Not done that in 3 months, so city staff will then advertise the RDA and the Parks, Recreation, Landscape Commission vacancies, and will present applications for council's consideration. Actually requested is council's acknowledgement of Douglas Hearn's resignation from the Redevelopment Authority and DPRC, and Mr. Sugden's resignation from the Parks, Rec, and Landscape Commission. Enclosed is Mr. Hearn's letter. Might add that Mr. Hearn was a very good board member, as you know.
Plus on the wayfinding.
He was very good at. Randy can speak to that as well. Yeah.
Any thoughts or comments? I would just like to reiterate what Mr. Holtz had said. Mr. Hearn has served the city in a number of different ways. He's done fantastic work on behalf of the city, and his contributions will be missed. We wish him all the best in next activities, and I know that I understand he's not moving away from the city, but so it'll be nice to continue to see him around town.
Yeah, he was also a member of this council.
Right.
I can add to that Mr. Hearn is still going to participate on the comprehensive task force.
Fantastic.
So he wants to see the fulfillment of the comprehensive.
Great. That's good to know. Thank you. Okay, next agenda item is my appointments to the Junior Council Member Selection Committee. Hard to believe, but we're getting ready to close out a school year, and there's seniors that are going to graduate and move on to great, wonderful things. And you're going to have to go through the process of finding another fantastic junior council person. So at this point, please be advised that I hereby appoint Vice President Flasher, Mr. Cashman, and Mr. Villela to the Junior Council Member Selection Committee. The committee will review all applications received and select a member to serve during the 2026 to 2027 academic year. We're not going to say goodbye to you yet, but we are actively going to start searching for your replacement. So.
It's harder and harder.
Okay, so that brings us to agenda item 9I, wayfinding signs and kiosk update. Mr. Rossi, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wortman. This is in direct response to Mayor Wortman's request at the last council meeting to provide some additional information for the wayfinding signs and kiosks. Comprehensive Plan Task Force was formed to serve as the guiding force behind the implementation of various facets of the plan's recommendations. Development of wayfinding signs and directional kiosks was selected as one of the first items to be addressed, and a task force sign committee was created. As outlined in the attached timeline, the sign committee put a great deal of time and thought into the development of a plan, selection of the vendor, and sign design. I have been in frequent contact with the manufacturer, and I'm happy to report that all components are expected to be delivered by the end of April, with installation to follow as weather, and DPW scheduling permits. Enclosed, the wayfinding signs, kiosk timeline, wayfinding sign design, kiosk design, map that will appear on the kiosk, and sample map indicating the locations of signs and kiosks. And behind you, you will see actual kiosk map material that the kiosk map will be made out of. This is an example of the material that the wayfinding signs will be made out of. The actual sign will be a little bit different than what's depicted on there, but it was called out in your enclosures.
Thank you very much. Any questions of Mr. Rossi?
You know, that sign there reminds me, Washington Park. When you go up the road, sometimes it's a little difficult to see the sign that's turn here.
Oh, yeah. You're saying.
Just to comment, and going back to the unfortunate resignation of Mr. Hearn, I know that there was so many people that were involved with this project in particular, but just going back to the comprehensive plan, in terms of all the number of folks and entities that have been involved with the process, and I think this is a real success story in terms of how this project unfolded, the inputs, the comprehensive plan task force that was formed by the council to take into consideration a lot of these comprehensive plan activities and tasks that were called out. So it's going to be great when we see these out on the street, and I think residents of Warren are going to be just thrilled with the results, and nothing but great things to say about the work that's been done. At the council level, individual council members and the comprehensive plan task force and everybody else that was involved. Mr. Rossi, you in particular, in terms of shepherding along a lot of the activity relative to this endeavor. So thank everybody for their involvement. Pretty great. Came out on the street. So any additional questions or comments?
Are the backs of the signs the bare metal or of all of the signs?
No, they're two-sided.
Oh, that's what I was wondering.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Any additional questions or comment on the wayfinding sign update? Okay, we're moving on to committee updates. Comprehensive Plan Task Force, Mr. Rossi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The task force met on April 14th. They had a report from the downtown business group in regards to the shop hop. It was very successful. They had over 20 businesses that participated. The shop hop ran from the first part of March to the weekend before Easter. The group did do a overview of how the project went. They had some suggestions on how it could possibly be improved next year, such as encouraging businesses to stay open, perhaps the making of more flyers to hang around town. But overall, they felt the event went very well. The downtown group is also looking at some new events, possibly for the summer of 2027. They are looking at perhaps a scavenger hunt, which would include participants to go into the downtown area and identify certain items that are located in the city, or also to participate in an event to win prizes, events such as going to the prairie, to a art opening, perhaps renting a canoe from Allegheny Outfitters, attending a class at iBob House, perhaps seeing an event over at the Stothers Library Theater. But more to come on that. They plan on working on that the rest of this year, with implementation in the summer of 2027. The group also had an update similar to what council just received on the wayfinding signs. And also the task force is now going to go back to the comprehensive plan, do an update on what items have already been crossed off that list, and then start looking at some more projects that could be implemented here in the next year or so. And I can anticipate that at some point in time, once that list is comprised, they will be giving some updates to council.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Rossi? Riverfront development, I think we hit the highlights on that. Nothing more really to say about that. Council of Governments.
I'm gonna defer to Mr. Holtz. I was not at that meeting this month because the Artemis 2 launched that night, so I was.
I went to the COG meeting with the Youngsville. Biggest one, and you all got some email traffic on that is the Federal National Forest Agency is doing a pretty decent reorganization. The main office is going to be out in Salt Lake City, but amazingly enough, Warren has been picked as one of the sites for one of the regional offices. They thought the regional office at the end of the day would see an additional 8 employees. Right now they're up in North Warren, that side, that building wouldn't accommodate the additional 8 employees. So right now the thought is to go down to Buckaloon at the lab and mention there, but Rich Hatfield, also paraphrased by saying, this is not going to happen very quickly. The federal government moves forward. So it's probably a year or so while at least before they do that type of work. On top of that, they're going to have a planned burn of 2,000 acres up at Tracy Ridge, which is a pretty good sized burn, and one at Rocky Gap, 130 acres. Besides the ANF report, which certainly was the highlight of the meeting, we had the folks that are doing interestingly, the consultant group that's doing the housing study for the county was zoomed in, and we had a pretty lengthy discussion with them to get the COG side of view for the housing. So they're still working on that study. Josh Cotton, the county's really doing that. That was most of it. The Vacation Bureau gave their pitch for certain events coming up. Really most of the highlights. If anybody has any questions, they're like, and Bureau Veritas, who's our third party building inspector code, who basically for a few years just had us in Tonawanda Township, now has 75 or 80% of the county. They've captured most of the county, which is nice. The county has Bureau Veritas, a nice feature because their field guy actually lives here in town, and we see him regularly. So that works out well from a day-to-day basis. Randy can speak on that. Bureau Veritas, a nice firm to work with.
Yeah, I guess the best thing you can say about Bureau Veritas is when their inspectors come in, they use a lot of common sense, which in some cases very uncommon. They work very well with people who are looking to get a building permit. They're not heavy-handed. They only require what UCC requires, and they have a really good working relationship with my department.
This is actually the third company that the city's employed, and they are by far the easiest to work with. Anybody has any questions regarding any of the COG? I mean, it was pretty good. As far as COG goes, it was one better.
They were pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Do we have a Warren Works update? Anything like you can call out from the last?
With the meetings, the regular meeting or what we call it now, the joint committee meeting. What do we call it these days? No, it's not the executive. Yeah. It's tomorrow at 8 o'clock at the college. I'll walk you to attend. I'll be there. I'm sure Savannah will be there.
Anybody won't?
Do you, I mean, I don't know, I can give.
Yeah, if you want to,
Sure.
since you're here.
That was me.
Yeah, so like Mike said, so our second combined meeting is tomorrow, so we're doing business development and the quality of life together now. I mean, the first one we had really great attendance, there were 4 people, so I'm confident that we'll be able to get better traction out of that, hopefully trying to make it less than update meeting. So that's tomorrow, executive committee coming up, so Jenny will have her first round of like this is our first quarterly reporting of some of the data for the website, the blogs, the marketing, think how we've got like a couple of full quarters now, so if you guys wanted a bigger update next, provide that. Outside of that, just kind of still trying to work with outside communities. So still working with guys, CU, Sugar Grove. I actually went to Russell Revitalization, because they've actually somehow been left out of a lot of this so far. So just trying to still make sure we're out there, and helping with anything we can for revitalization. That's just working on. We also, the power and Starlink at Gates Rocks that's probably the biggest news. Like that's all up and working now. So, it may be the best cell service in Warren County right now. So that's great. And then Jim's working to get the one at the again. We're optimistic maybe we might be able to stretch out into the water even. So talking about if there's a way we can potentially be able to have like a safe zone where you could actually go. Those things are, I know the visitor bureau is putting one in. It actually.
That's fantastic. As much as that lake is used, having a couple points anyway that people know about that they need to get to make a emergency call or to check in on something.
Yeah.
It's
and being someone who has wrecked my bike, having the ability to call someone.
yeah.
So yeah,
Good. Any questions on any of the committee chairs? Okay, we also have department reports. Any questions for the department heads? I do want to make just one comment. I appreciate all the effort from the DPW to get the tables and chairs out onto the streets as soon as possible. I think Easter weekend, the weather was actually quite nice and there was a lot of activity, at least on the front end of Easter weekend, and then it kind of turned. But I think Thursday and Friday and then part of Saturday, just bustling downtown, and tables and chairs certainly helped a lot. So I know that, so appreciate all those efforts because it's not an easy task to get done that quickly.
That's not one of the things.
No, probably not. As heavy as that.
The furniture is
That's
heavy.
not
Right now,
Schlepping that around is not easy. Sure.
You don't lose any.
I hear how grateful they are when you're on this thing.
All right, any further questions, comments for tonight's meeting? Anybody want to make a?
So
All right, this meeting is adjourned.